Okay, so we're gonna review for exam 1 today first. That's the first thing. I'm gonna be reviewing by going over some sample problems like this one, and I'll talk about the details of the exam later on. So this is saying expand, write it as a sum and or difference. So I see first thing here, there's a division. So I do log the top base 6 minus log the bottom base 6. One thing I can do with x squared minus 25 is factor it out as x minus 5x plus 5 base 6 minus log, put a bracket there, log x plus log the square root of x minus 1. Don't forget the base in every single step. So then we have log x minus 5 base 6 plus log x plus 5 base 6 minus log x base 6 minus log 6. This one you can write it as 1/2 and bring it down. That's the max you can expand. Rationalize the denominator. Rationalize the denominator for, let's say, this fraction, the square root of 2 plus x minus 2 minus x and 2x on the top. We need to rationalize the denominator for this expression. I hope everyone tried it. So the first thing I would do, I would rewrite this first. Then multiply top and bottom by the conjugate, which is by multiplying by the same denominator, switching the middle sign. Next step is to rewrite it as 2x times the whole thing, and the bottom one 2 plus x minus 2 minus x times 2 plus x plus 2 minus x. I rewrote it. So now I keep the top the same. The denominator looks like a minus b and a plus b. So you do a squared minus b squared. Two x times, this stays the same. The denominator, we square that. We square the denominator. 2 plus x minus 2 minus x. Keep the top the same. 2 plus x minus 2 plus x. These cancel out. So what do we get? 2x times the same and 2x down here. So the 2x cancels. So that gives us 2 plus x plus 2 minus x. No more denominators or radicals in the denominator. Next example, find the intercepts. Means find the x and y intercepts. rewrite this expression with no radical. And graph this function. It's called piecewise function. For this one, we set first x equals 0. Let's see what we get. Y equals 16 over 0. That's undefined. Undefined. So we don't have no y-intercept. How about if we set y 0? If y is 0, we get 16 minus x squared over 4x is 0. In order for that to be 0, the numerator has to equal 0. 4 minus x, 4 plus x. So you get x equals 4 and negative 4. So we have 2 points, 4, 0 and negative 4, 0. Those are the intercepts. Next one, we need no radical. So recall the property ym index n. It's ym over n, like that. This stays the same. 1/3. Add the exponents. 20, this is over 3, 3, 24, 25 over 3. No radicals. Next one, we are going to graph this piecewise function. First one, y equals negative x. Everyone should know this by heart. This is negative x. But it says only graph it when x less than 0, means to the left of 0. Next one, y equals negative 2. This is y equals negative 2. But it says from exactly 0 to 2. 1, 2. Here. It's a horizontal line. And the last one is a parabola. Goes up by 1. Like this. But it says only bigger than or equal to 2, from 2 and to the right. That's the graph. Any questions about it? For the same question, we can ask you find f of 4, f of 0, and f of negative 8. f of 4, we substitute in the last one, because the last one says use that equation if x bigger than 2 or equal. So that gives us 16 plus 1, 17. F of 0, when x is 0, we use the second one, which is always negative 2. F of negative 8, that's less than 0, the first one. So negative 8. So the answer is 8. Find the domain for f of x equals x plus 3 over x to the 4th minus 256. Let's go over the first one. We can make the first one, the denominator cannot be 0, so this looks like I need to write it as something square minus something else square. So here would be x squared, and here would be 16, because 16 times 16, 256. Now it's a difference of 2 squares, so it's x squared minus 16, and x squared plus 16 cannot equal 0. This one can be factored even more, x minus 4, x plus 4, and this stays the same. So then x cannot equal 4, and x cannot equal negative 4, and this one nothing can be done over the reals. So the domain is going to be all real numbers except 4 and negative 4. 4 and negative 4.
Hi, Professor, quick question.
Yes.
We can write that in interval notation, correct?
Yeah, if you like. So the domain would be negative infinity to negative 4, union negative 4 to 4, union 4 to infinity.
Very perfect. Thank you
Next
so much.
one, how do we solve the inequality like this? Always working with inequalities, try to factor as many things as possible. So this is x minus 2, x plus 2, bigger than or equal to 0. After we do the factoring, we use the number line. What goes on the number line? Negative 2, 1, and 2. Negative infinity and positive infinity. Now we pick testing points. We pick testing points. For example, x equals 3. Plug it in here. What do you get? 1 minus 3, negative 2. So that's negative, and the bottom positive. So this will be negative the whole time. If you test the next one, that would be positive, that would be negative, that would be positive. If you run testing points. The question is asking, when is this positive? When is it positive? So bigger than or equal to 0. It's from negative infinity to negative 2, but negative 2 cannot have a bracket, union 1 to 1 to 2, 1 there's a bracket, parentheses at 2, because 2 is in the denominator, we cannot include the 2 in there. You don't need any calculator on a test. Make sure to know these formulas: a minus plus b square, which is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and its use. A minus b squared, which is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, and its use. If you have a plus or minus b over c, it's a over c plus or minus b over c. These properties are important. How you graph trig functions like 2 sine x, 4 cosine x, things like that. Make sure you know cosine square alpha plus sine square alpha is 1. And then I would say redo the problems in the packets, 2 packets. So the problems in the packets, it's not like you need to know them just for this test, but you need to know them for the whole semester. Everything we do in calculus is going to depend on those algebraic properties. Those stuff comes from algebra. Any questions for me about this review? So let me explain how we're going to run the test. Okay, so please make sure you understand what I'm saying, and if you have any questions, type it in the chat so I can explain more. So the way this is gonna work, I will basically type an exam similar to these questions or from the packet. There are 2 packets only, and then I'm going to convert to PDF and post it on Canvas. Okay, post it on Canvas on Wednesday at the same time, at 8:30 in the morning when the class starts. Okay, and then when I post it on Canvas, it's gonna open at that time. I'm not gonna email it to you. Okay, I'm not gonna email it to you in advance or something. Okay, the test will be released to you on Canvas at the time the class starts. Okay, it's not gonna be in advance in the morning. Okay, and then you're gonna go to Canvas, and then under assignments you're gonna find it there. You click on it, you upload the file to yourself. You can print it out, or you can write on any piece of paper, writing your first name, last name, or last name, comma, first, and write Math 3A and maybe your student ID number. And then you're gonna show step by step. Don't just give me answers. You do need to show steps. And then after you finish showing steps, you will have, the test will be 2 hours. Okay, I'm gonna open it for 2 hours, and 20 minutes. So you will have 20 minutes to basically download the file, print it out, and then scan it, and then upload it back. This whole process usually takes 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes at the latest, but you will have 20 minutes. Now, let me tell you what students do, and I don't want you to go through this. Okay, I don't want you to do this. So when you solve the test, you have 2 hours 20 minutes. And really pay attention to what I'm gonna say, and that's gonna be listed on the test. You have 2 hours to finish the test. Means you have 2 hours. Don't keep going and 2 hours 20 minutes already there, or 15 minutes already there, and then you just keep going and going. That's not gonna work out. Don't wait till the last minute, like, oh, I still have 2 minutes. It's not gonna work out. Maybe your time is slightly different than the one on Canvas. Canvas will close at that minute and nobody will be able to open for you. Okay, no one is going to be able to open that for you, neither myself or any other person. It's not going to work out. Okay, just keep that in mind. I'm very strict about this, just to be fair with everybody, and then we go through less headache and complications. So you have 2 hours. You start, let's say, at 8:30. By 10:30 you should stop. I'm not going to proctor on Zoom. You're going to be on your own. You're going to do it on your own. For this first test, I'm going to let you do it on your own. I'm not going to proctor it. Maybe for the second test, maybe I'll proctor. But for the first test, I'll let you do it on your own. So you have 2 hours. Then after 2 hours are done, then you say, okay, it's time for me to start scanning. Okay, you scan it, email it to yourself. So that's how it's going to go. You scan using Cam Scanner. Or ScanPod, or you can use, if you have an iPhone, you can use there's an application there. It's called Notes. Notes. You can use that to do the scanning. So you scan. That's the first step. Next step, you email it to yourself. Email as one PDF file. And then after you email it, you download it to your desktop. Download to your desktop. Then you upload to Canvas. Upload to Canvas. These are the steps that you really need to follow. Okay? So students asking how many questions are there. I don't know exactly how many. Could be about 10 questions. How many problems? How long is the test? So how long means how many questions are there. That's how many we have. You don't need to show your student ID. You can if you want for this time, but I do need it for the second exam for sure. If you do it on the first exam, I don't need it for the next exam, but I do need it throughout the semester, either for the first or second. So you don't have to mute your microphone. I mean, there's no microphone to mute it. You will be on your own. Some students saying, oh, sometimes the application scanner apps takes a lot of time to send an email. That's not true. Usually it takes 1 to 2 minutes the latest. So you do need to use one of these applications. If you decide to use another application and it messes things up, it's your responsibility. And I will not, I'm telling you now, I'm not going to accept any test by email. As soon as I see an email, you email it to me. Even 1 second after the deadline, I'm not going to take it. This is very restrictive policy. I don't want to deal with the emails. If anyone has any questions, yes, I'll go over them. But first, let me finish about all these exam policies so we don't have to go through any headache during the exam. Yeah, so not after 2 hours. After 2 hours and 20 minutes, the test will be locked. Locked means like if you go to Canvas, try to upload it, you will not be able to upload it anywhere. You can use pen, pencil, it doesn't matter, as long as I can read it. Anything you can use. Any other questions about the exam? So this is what I would do if I'm you. I would install the apps on the phone and then today and then try it, test it. Scan any random 4 or 5 pages, email it yourself, see how long does it take to do the scanning and to email it yourself, to upload it and to download it from the email and upload it to Canvas. See how long it's gonna take you. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. 5 feet at least. That's when I proctored the exam. I'm not gonna proctor this Wednesday. Now another thing I want to warn you about. Some people, what they do, they logged into Canvas on their phone. So when they take pictures of the PDF, they upload it right away. Sometimes that can cause issues if your phone or the app or the Canvas on your phone is not up to date. Any other questions? So some people are asking questions and other people thank you for answering. So they are answering the questions for you. Okay, since it's not going to be proctored exam and you don't have a printer at home, you don't have to write the questions down. No need to write the questions this time. Only when I'm proctoring the exam. You can either print it out or you can simply just write your name on the top, Math 3A, your ID, and then start number one and then move on. Number two, leave like some space on the margin on all the four margin, like the two margins on both sides or all sides. Don't squeeze everything on one page. I've seen students do this. They write something here for number one, and then later on they do like this and they write number two, and it's so messy, it's not easy to grade. I don't know exactly how many questions, but there will be about, I usually give 9 to 10. Some with parts like A, B, C. Any other questions about the exam? This should be the easiest one among all the exams I'm going to be giving you. So it's a good chance for you to get a perfect score in the exam. Guys, can someone explain to him or her what do we mean by download? Any other questions? Please ask. This is a good time to ask any questions about the exam. So someone is asking if the interval is only bigger or smaller than 0 without the equal sign. It's an open point, yes. So if it's only less or only bigger, so that's an open circle. Less than or equal, bigger than or equal, it's a closed circle, unless if it's in the denominator. So this works also if it's in the denominator. Next question for me. From packet 1, homework number 3. It's about factoring. How do you factor 8x cubed y minus 24x squared y squared? The common factor here is 8x squared y. That will leave x minus 3y. That's all you have to do. For b, you take the 4c out. That will leave c squared minus 1. And I'm sure you know how to finish it. There's one more step. For c, what's the common here? Common factor is 3x squared, x plus 1 squared, x minus 2 squared. That's the GCF. And what goes in here? We need a 2x, x plus 1 minus 3, and x minus 2. And then all you have to do, keep this the same, multiply this out, see what you get. Now number 6, part L, and there's I, H-I, 6I. X times 2/3 x minus 2 to the negative 1/3 minus x minus 2 to the 2/3 divided by x squared. So the first thing that bothers us here is the negative exponent. So what are we going to do with the negative exponent? We are going to, this is 2x over 3, bring that down, x minus 2 to the 1/3, and keep this the same over 1, and this the same over 1. So the LCD to all these fractions, this, and this, is the first one, which I'm gonna multiply, okay, by 3 times x minus 2 to the 1/3, 3 times x minus 2 to the 1/3, 3 times x minus 2 to the 1/3. And what do we get for this? These cancel, 2x minus x minus 2 to the 3/3, which is 1, 3x squared, x minus 2 to the 1/3. Next one, 2x minus 3x plus 6 over, keep this the same, and the last step, you get negative x plus 6 over 3x squared times x minus 2 to the 1/3. Someone said 6, I think 6e, there's no L in 6. Maybe E. Part E, it's x plus 2 over x cubed plus 8. The 8 you can write as 2 cubed. So that becomes x plus 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 4. If you remember the formula for a cubed plus b cubed. So what I did, I used the formula for a cubed plus b cubed, which is a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. Can you go over 6i? I just went over 6i. So these are the questions you asked me from the first packet, from packet 2 now. Okay, 1c first. 1c. Find the domain for this function, natural log of 9 minus x squared. To do so, this thing should be bigger than 0. So 3 minus x, 3 plus x, bigger than 0. Then you have to use the number line, -3 and 3. If you choose 4, for example, as a testing point, that gives you negative. Then between -3 and 3 is 0, let's say, you're going to get positive, then negative. When is it positive? -3 to 3. That's the domain. That's 1c. Now we can move on to 6. Let's see, what's number 6? I solved this in the office hours. So 6 in the office hours. And I solved 9 in the office hours. So you're going to find it on the OneNote link. Number 11. Let me go to 11. And I solved 11 in office hours. 12. So 12, I'm not sure if I solved it or not, but we can do it now. X squared minus 6x plus 11. Divide this by x plus 1. How do we do this? So you write it like so. Divided by x plus 1. What needs to go on the top? If you multiply by x, you get x squared, is x. X times x, x squared. X times 1, 1x. Switch the signs and add them up. Then -7 minus 7x minus 7. Switch the signs and add them up. So you can write it if you like, that this thing divided by x plus 1 is equal the quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. That's for number 12. I solved A and B. Or 17 first. Let me check. 17 A and B. You know, I can't solve 17 for you. You have to find out a way around this, because if I solved it, it's like I'm not helping you. You know, you have to think about it. So if you go to the office hours tab, you will find that I give them something similar to those questions, both of them. So you just have to write it in a sigma. You have to find a pattern here, something here, and then say I goes from maybe 1 to n or something. You have to find what goes in there for part A, and B the same thing. And now for 18, I also did the same. I solved them in office hours. So let's say you are asked to solve on the calculus 0.1 plus ln of 0.2 plus all the way to ln of 1, let's say. So the way you do this is you just key that into the calculator plus key in the next one. Then the next one that you don't see is ln of 0.3. And the next one is ln of 0.4. And keep going on until you reach ln of 0.9. And then the next one is ln of 1. And then hit the enter key, and that will give you the value. So for B, the same way, like you have to substitute the values in. So in B, you have to find f of 0.5. What is that going to be? 0.5 cubed minus 4 times 0.5. And you got a value here, a number. And then you find f of 1. the same way. 1 cubed minus 4 times 1, you get a number. And you go all the way up to f of 3, which is 3 to the third minus 4 times 3, and get a number. And then you add all these numbers up, add them up. That's one way to do it. Now, if you try, now one thing important to know, just note, when you do e to the negative 0.1, this is a negative sign, not minus sign. This is a negative sign. It's not a minus sign. And what does that mean? The calculator has two small icons, one like this and one like that. This is the negative sign, not the first one, not this one, that one, the one that wrapped with parentheses. Someone asking, is 11 from this packet in? Yes, I solved it there, or at least solved half of it or something. Someone asked about 14. I think I solved them there. So the first one you divide by 2, and then you have to use the formula. When you divide by 2, you get this. And then on the right side, you write cosine 90 or pi over 2. And then you have to use the formula from the lecture. If you have cosine alpha equals cosine beta, then alpha equals beta plus 2k pi, k is an integer, or alpha is negative beta plus 2k pi, k is an integer. So you do it here, and then you start plugging values for k, because it says only 0 to pi. For part B, you have to factor x out. That'll leave 2 ln of x plus 1 equals to 0. So x is 0, and I did solve it in office hours. For C, you factor, let me see, 2x plus 3x ex. There's so many ways to do this. One way is to assume this is a function y equals 2e to the 2x plus 3x e to the x, and this one is y equals 0, and graph them using Desmos. And then see where the graph intersects the x-axis. The good thing with Desmos, as soon as you hit the point or where the graph crosses the x-axis, you will be able to see the points. It will tell you the x value or values. I did solve 16 as well there. I think I solved it twice. Any other questions about the test, the review? Now let me tell you something. If you go ahead and post the exam questions online for someone to solve for you, I will find that out, and I will know who posted them. So do your best. Don't cheat. There's no reason to cheat, and just see how much you can get. If I catch anyone cheating from someone else or work with other students, both will get 0. Arc sine method, you don't need arc sine here or arc cosine for this problem. For 14a, you just solve it the way I give you. You can use arc sine, cosine, but you have to watch carefully. Any other questions? Anyone has any other questions for me?